Alright, welcome to my video cast assignment. Today we're going to be talking about social media and kind of the whole effect that it's played in our society today. So I have a list of about 8 questions, 8 topics of conversation I'm going to be discussing today. So the first one is, when did social media become a thing? It kind of just appeared, like it just showed up out of nowhere. But according to this website I'm looking at here, sites like MySpace and LinkedIn gained prominence in the early 2000s, and then it wasn't until 2005 when YouTube came out. And YouTube was a big deal. That was like the new TV in a way, and it still kind of is for me personally. But then as the years progressed, we saw apps like Facebook emerge, MySpace, Instagram, Snapchat, Tumblr. All these new apps were being created, and it was giving people a new outlet to communicate and create content and share content. So my second point is, how has it changed over the years since it was first released? So looking back at the early social media sites, MySpace, LinkedIn, they were pretty basic social media apps, I would say. They kind of used just like the basics. Like LinkedIn is just about meeting and connecting people through businesses, which is a great way to which is a great site. But as time has evolved, we see more apps with the ability to live stream, the ability to edit things in a way that changes them, and so what are the benefits of social media? For the most part, pretty much everybody has some form of social media, and that's a good thing. It helps people communicate. It's a great way to make new friends, connect with people. You can connect with people all over the world from a push of a button, which is pretty amazing, honestly. And it's also good for work, business. You can make a business off of social media, which is something that, if you would have asked like my grandma or my grandpa years ago, they would have laughed and said, what the hell is that even about? But so moving on to my fourth point, what are the disadvantages of social media? Now, there's good and bad things that come with everything in life, and at least in my opinion. And some of the disadvantages are bullying, exposing people, kind of using it in a negative way, whether it be to express your own opinion, or share content that's not necessarily appropriate, and stuff like that. So moving on to my fifth point, because I'm running out of time, how can you earn a living from social media? So I talked about that a little bit earlier, but today it seems like everybody, or at least most people, are making some form of income off their social media pages, whether it be through endorsements, whether it be through doing trials, whether it be through access codes, like discount codes. That's a really big thing. So you can make a pretty decent living off of social media if you do it the right way, which is very interesting to me, and something that I'm trying to look into more is, how can I use my talents and whatever else to share content and make money off of it. So my next point is, why even use social media? I think social media is very important. It's a very important way to communicate with people. I think that's the main thing. To use social media is to connect with others, and also to create content and put your own content out there and see what happens. Like SoundCloud is a big thing right now. People can just share music, and if it's good, it'll blow up, and the next day you could be a SoundCloud rapper, which is kind of cool. But moving on to my seventh point, what's the future of social media going to be like? I think the social media, the future of social media, is going to keep evolving. I think the apps that we see now, like as sort of at the frontier, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, I think these apps are going to stay in the at the top for years to come, and maybe new apps will come into play at some point, but I think what we're going to see is a lot of updates to these apps and new ways to keep users engaged and interested in the app or the website. So yeah, moving on to my last point, my personal opinion and my favorite apps. In my opinion, I think social media is a good, but it's a bittersweet thing. There's a lot of good things that can come from social media, yet there's a lot of bad. So it's kind of finding a balance between the both, and kind of filtering out the bad and putting in more of the good. And some of my favorite apps, I'm not a big social media guy, honestly. For the most part, I just use Instagram and Snapchat. I don't really go on Twitter. I don't really go on Facebook. You can find me on those websites or those apps, but I'm not very active. But I also have apps. So I have a LinkedIn. I have a Tumblr. I have a Pinterest. I have all these apps, and you don't even realize how many social media apps you use throughout the day. But yeah, so that concludes my video cast. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a good day.